Good afternoon everyone. So today we're at a Volkswagen Polo TDI, so I'm not sure if it's 1.4, 1.6 or whatever it is, but it's a 2012 model. So customer's complaint is the engine starts and after 2 seconds it stalls again. So they got someone out to clean the intake or something like that and it still made no difference. So I'll let you hear the symptom. Scan tool is not even plugged in yet. We'll start it. Starts. Then it stalls. Right, do that again. Starts. Then it stalls. Right, so my guess is, without even looking at any scan, that's an EGR problem. Because what's happening, it's starting, it's creating diesel combustion. And then, with the EGR valve being open, it's ingesting EGR gases, so it's choking it to death. So I think that's what it is. So let's plug it in and scan it. Interestingly, when an EGR stuck on a petrol, it ain't so bad, it just idles rough, but in a diesel, it chokes it. So let's scan it in. We've done a scan, so you can see we have cylinder 3 glow plug, coolant pump B control circuit, turbocharger boost sensor, and mass or volume airflow sensor, circuit intermittent. In the brakes we have a supply voltage issue. And the electronic central electric load management intervention. Oh, what's that? Do you know? Airbag, media player, and that's it. So I wonder what load management intervention is. Let's go and look under the bonnet. So this is a 6R model. And I'm looking around here for the EGR valve, so you'd imagine that's a pipe there to allow it to go back into the intake, so something to do with this, or somewhere around that area, because that's the throttle intake. So maybe the best idea is to disconnect and see what codes come back in this one. I'll disconnect that. I've disconnected that multi-plug. Let's see if this is the EGR valve. So enter in. Okie dokie. Read DTCs. Glow plug intake runner position. So that's no the EGR valve. Coolant pump intake mass airflow. So the hunt is on. We're beginning to wonder if this is actually a block DPF. So look at the raw voltage. Maybe no. Yeah. Let it idle already. So it's out. So there is a great. Go for it, Roddy. Take a wee run just to see what it's like. But maybe slow build up, aye. So we put a dummy adapter into the exhaust and we used our gauge. So what, to rev it, Roddy? I don't think this is a problem. No, back pressure's no problem. We need to look elsewhere. Right, here we go. So what I would say, there's a terrible smell, diesel-y, sooty smell. Right, I'll show you some of the PIDs. There's the fuel rail pressure. When I put my foot to the floor, it builds up very slowly. So that's a concern. The manifold intake, watch this, this is the turbo would put this up, so he's struggling. There's hardly anything there. I think we'll go after the turbo. I think so. We've stripped this down and went into the turbo there. and we could feel it stiff turning, so somebody's been in here before us because these pipes, they're all broken. Strange. So we're going to idle this, and this thing should turn when it's idling with exhaust gases. Right, after a bit of hunt, we're kind of leaning towards this. Now this is the G31 sensor, and that's similar to this one here, which is actually just the temperature sensor. So these are known to be faulty. I read a technical service book on, so just let's run it over it with wire. So the brown is battery voltage, so I think we're a wee bit low, so you can see that we're reading 0. So let's take a clamp and go to the other side. So you see we're reading -43, so that battery is low. No to worry, we'll test it under load. Go back here, go to the next pin, the middle pin. This should be a 5 volt reference. There we go, 5 volts. And then let's go to our last wire. This should be output. So you can see that we're reading 1.61. So I think that's atmospheric. So let's check it with the scan tool. The other thing, you can see someone's broke the tab in here. It's gone. So at this Polo, I thought we'd look at a couple of PIDs, convinced it's the EGR valve. So let's look at the scan tool and see what we can see. So it's back to start stop again, let me see it. So it starts, then it ingests the exhaust gases, and then it cuts out. So sometimes once you heat them up a little bit, they keep going, or rev the guts out it. It's absolutely stinking, this thing. No, we can't even get it going. So let me see. Your air mass in grams a second. 5. See, I think that should be sitting about 12, 13. So that would prove the EGR valve is open. That's air mass. Charge at air pressure. I don't think we're going to get anything. See, that's low. What else? Well, fuel, here's the fuel here. We need what, 250 bar to start this. So we're getting plenty of pressure. So let's go and have a look, see if we can do a test in this EGR valve. So in order to access this EGR valve, it's down the back under the turbo. So I looked at all data. I'll show you how to get access to it, but you've got to remove the DPF, you've got to lower the subframe, and remove the steering, well, unclip the steering rack from the bottom of the steering column. So it's no job for the faint-hearted. This is a 6 to 8 hour job. Well, 6 hour job. But if it's a 4-motion, it's an 8 hour job. So what I was thinking we could do, just to proof of concept, see this little pipe here? I'm sure that's the pipe. It comes from the EGR valve going back into the intake. So if we could take that, disconnect it there, put a blanking plate in, and see if the car then runs after that, that would be proof that our EGR valve is, what happens, it's stuck open. Even though it doesn't flag anything on the scan tool, that EGR has, the actuator is actually working, but there's a little gate inside is broken and it leaves it open. So let's get this off and see if we can blank it. I think somebody's actually been hitting this with a hammer. So what I've done is I've removed the map sensor, just 2 torques, and I made up a little metal plate, and I've just sandwiched that between that bit there and that little pipe there, just to stop the gases getting in. So we'll put this sensor back in. We'll see if this goes. I need to push that, do a bit, maybe get in there like that. So see it there. So just popped the sensor back in, left this little blanking plate, see if it starts and revs better now. In fact, let's see if our grams a second go up. So moment of truth. Oh no, she's still slow to rev. Still slow to rev. Maybe that's not the main EGR intake. Okay, let's try again. Oh, very slow. Let's pop out the the map sensor, see if she can breathe more easily. So if that's going to draw in nice clean air, let's see if it goes now. Exhaust gases. Oh, that's better. The air mass up a little bit, but there's still gases getting in there, so maybe my routing's not quite right. But you can see we're revving now, at least you can breathe. We put that blanking plate in, which I thought that would cure the issue. Indeed, it still starts the installs again, especially when cold, not so bad when warm. Still think it's EGR valve, but never mind. We then looked at the coolant bottle, and you can see that our coolant level is down. So that would then point towards a coolant leak, and the EGR cooler is a famous one for that. So it could be coolant getting in and causing all sorts of issues that are havoc. We then checked, we've not got hardly any turbo pressure, so when we squeeze that there, it's no boosting up. That pipe's not going hard, and the scan tool revealed that as well. But we did check the turbo to see if it was turning, and it is turning, you've seen that. So whether the leaking off the exhaust gases cause it not to spin as much, that would be true, because it's not getting directed to the right place. But ooh, so maybe they thought that maybe the next easiest test is to do an injector leak off test, because we can see that somebody's been at this diesel, they changed the diesel filter. But I'm just looking for that one conclusive test to say that is the issue, and I'm not getting any run of luck with that at the moment. So the hunt goes on. I'm done a sample of diesel, see if it burns up. Nothing. What's that, lad? We reckon it's a weird colour. It looks like her favourite iron brew. You swig that if you were desperate. That's burning. That's not right, is it? Over it. Yeah, it's no. What was on that rag? Seen it burn like that before?
No. I have not.
That's a concoction or something. Here, another douse.
It's a fresh stuff. If anything else, we get a heat. It's not better.
It's like the miners' strike, get a heat man. That's no right, eh? Is that a clean rag?
We're going to get an iron because that's just doesn't look right.
That doesn't look right.
Diesel doesn't usually go as quick.
No. So we bi-directionally controlled the pump via the scan tool. So it says pump electronics, and when you hit the start button, I just took the inline off of there and it ran right through. So indeed we'll have fuel coming through, but we knew that because the engine started. But this is not a very good test actually because it's open, so I don't know, but that's certainly not right. That's still burning. Oh, I've just kicked the bolt. Still burning. Now here's our next test.
Get burnt now. I shouldn't have burnt as quick as that.
No.
Doesn't usually burn as quick as that.
No, I've never seen diesel like that in my life.
See who's been the light, that shouldn't
I know. That's a funny concoction.
Aye. So the Buckfast.
Buckfast, your favourite. Hope it was for the boat with the barrel. Here's a theory, we all like a theory. Right, oh, start again, my man. See that pipe there when Roddy's revving it? That should be doing it 30 degrees, but to me that's past the EGR valve gases. Even when we're trying to accelerate, that's not right. Yeah. are into the garage and we've had a little breakthrough, but whether this is the whole story, I do not know. So it's a difficult shot, so I'll not even bother showing you it. Well, maybe try, but I'll show you on the new one. Right, and when I went under the car, you can see that this plastic bit is at the side. It's no longer on there, this actuator rod. So that indeed is a problem. So Roddy's going to try and clip that back on. And we're wondering if the gate's slightly shut like that, open. Because you can see it there. See the little valve moving back and forward? So that is a problem. But whether it's the whole story, I do not know. Right, so I showed you, I demonstrated to you that that plastic thing was off. So Roddy managed to get it back on. So he then went down to the component down the back and applied vacuum. Now it's holding vacuum, yet the rod is still not moving. I'll demonstrate that. What he's applying vacuum to here, yet this bit's not moving. See that bit? That bit there's no moving, so that's jammed. So that indeed is a problem. So this is the EGR vacuum control valve here. So you can see we've just took off the top pipe, and I've applied vacuum to that. Oops. And Roddy's underneath, and you can see it's holding vacuum, but underneath it's not actuating the rod, so it is seized. But it kind of looks like it's seized in the shut position. But who can tell? That is a problem. And we'll let the vacuum go. Good. Apply vacuum. So my theory is now it's jammed with carbon. Here's hoping. But why did it not work when we jammed it up there? Don't know. You've got to sort what you know is wrong with the car first of all, then move on. So we managed to get it off, and I would say that was a bit a piggy job. So this bit is jammed, and inside the gate is open, so that's good news for us. So that is definitely kaput. But why oh why did our test not work? I don't know. See, look, that's jammed. So we managed just to remove the DPF to the side. We didn't need to drop the subframe. The DPF came off a banjo bolt. Roddy broke that banjo bolt, so that's a bit of a hassle. No, it wasn't Roddy. It was his brother. The cameraman. So I'll show you underneath what we left. So there's a lot there. We had to remove the turbo feed and return pipes, split off the drive shaft. We removed the drive shaft totally. We then took this bit out, the engine mount, and we put in a bit of wood just to rotate it forward. What else did we do? This pump needs renewed. Somebody's been here before, it's hanging. The multi-plug for the EGR valve was broken. There's the pipes up there we removed. Difficult shot. Anything else? There's bolts there. If you want to watch a good video how to do this, check the Dutch garage. He does an EGR valve on a little Golf, I think it is. But as I say, we didn't have to remove this bit here, this subframe. We've just left it in position, and we just let the exhaust bolts bracket hang down a little bit. So the proof will be in the pudding when we put it back together tomorrow. I'll let you know. So here is the moment of truth. The whole thing's back together. Coolant's topped up. We need to run that down. The coolant pump's not working. We've tried to get it off our suppliers. They don't do it. So we need to sort that. But we did find, I think I've showed you. What do we have to that already? There's the EGR valve there. It was slightly stuck open. So the jury's still out. So let's start it and see how this goes. It was jammed a wee bit. But we did think our blanket plate would work up here. So no less, don't know. We'll see how it goes. But my theory is we were robbing the exhaust gases from the turbo. So let's see how this goes. Right, Roddy, we go for it on. Right, so first test. Oh, does it start idle? Oh, Oh, it's looking rather good, Roddy. Yes, let's give it a rev. Yes, yes. Is it leaking a wee bit? Need tightened up. Had to replace that clamp. The nut burst. But it's revving up better, isn't it? So I think we'll call that a fix. I'll show you the coolant pump we need to replace. So there is the little coolant pump it needs replaced. And that's coming up under OBD. Now that pump keeps the EGR cooler cool. So we want that to work because we've replaced it. What's the salient points about this job? Didn't he tackle it, Roddy? Is that the salient points? Oh. That. That's right. Got the doctor first. Oh, that bracket, there's a bracket up there. That wasn't us, but somebody's put that on. I'll let you see the new cooler. See it? Oh, it's up the back there. Oh, you can't see it now because of the. It's back on, but oh, that was painful. I showed you this before, but this is after the fact. See, the only thing I could see it was up with this vehicle was in generic OBD, it said EGR error, and that was at 99% before. So you can see it's at 0. So if you have trouble with the EGR valve, look at generic OBD, because that blanking that thing off didn't make any difference. Unless I didn't blank it off enough, but I thought that they made a difference. So we're away now. We've got plenty of power.
We've got the whole anyway.
Well, this is true, we can go. Right, so we'll give it a little run, it's going well. Coolant's up to 63. Intake manifold with idle is 100 kPa, so I think this maybe boosts another 100 odd kPa on top of it, so we'll change that unit. So look, so we're just at idle, 14.5 psi. So if Roddy gives it a boost up the road here, we can graph that. Oh, it's rotten, eh? Oh, there we go. 15 psi pull. Right.
The temperature thing up there too, eh?
Aye, 64. Remember that it checks at 12 places in this, so I think remember the boatman. That. So you see me up to 33, so that's about an 18 psi pull. That's alright, nothing wrong with that turbo. Other notable figures: 31, airflow rate 48. Real pressure. So there we go. See that airflow rate, just like idle, Roddy. Airflow rate at idle, there you go, 8. And the EGR valve is not open yet, it's still at 0. And the temperature's at 79 degrees, so I would imagine it maybe open at 80 degrees EGR valve. But that's a good figure for you. 8 grams a second. So that would be with the EGR shut. Oh, looks good. Most important thing is driving lovely. Oh yeah, bandit. We'll call that a fix. Cheers.